Hi, everybody. It's Glenn Ackerman with Energy Awareness Training, here for a weekly class on various aspects of energy and energetic awareness and different subjects that illustrate the principles of what I teach. So we're going to be getting underway here soon. And today's topic is going to be about mind power, prayer, and manifestation in terms of mind power. And does it really work if you pray for someone? How does that work? Well, we're going to discuss that today here as people are coming on. Welcome, everybody. Happy Sunday to you. We're going to be discussing specifically the ability to have an intention and have an intention for good, hopefully for good, for the benefit of people, and to be able to transfer that. Does that really work? You know, we're talking energetically in an energetic perspective today. So we're going to be covering a lot of the aspects of energy awareness and stuff that people don't talk about too much. You know, people don't, unless you're, religious, you don't hear about prayer. And we're going to do, like, what is prayer? Does it work? Is it feasible? Some people think it's antiquated. Some people think, it's just superstition. But does it make a difference anywhere? How about manifestation? Can you really manifest things with your mind? Is that possible? And if you're using mind power, how does that work? So we're going to be discussing a lot of these things here today, and it's going to be a fascinating class. And I welcome your input on any comments and quotes that you have, any questions that you have or comments. Please feel free to share them in the chat. And just go ahead and say hi wherever you're coming from. We have a lot of people coming on right now. Welcome, everybody. Dave is on. Mikhail, Ivar, all my friends, all my regulars, they're coming on. Great to see you guys. Mikhail, good to see you. All right. Okay, so I don't know if Jonas is online. He was here last week, and he asked me to do a James Taylor tune. So while people are coming on, I'll give you a couple of minutes of one of my favorite James Taylor tunes, Fire and Rain. I have the old guitar here. I don't know if you can see it. And do a couple of versions of that while people are coming on. Today we're going to be discussing mind power, prayer, and intention for other people. Does it really work? Is there something to it, or is it hooey? We'll get to the bottom of that. Anyway, here's a couple of minutes while people are coming on of Fire and Rain. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Just doing a quick song before we begin from a request we had last week. Before we begin today's topic of prayer, mind power, and intention for other people. Does it work? What's it all about? Been walking my mind to an easy time. My back turns towards the sun. Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around. Where there's hours of time on the telephone line to talk about things to come. Sweet dreams and flying machines and pieces on the ground. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you, baby, one more time again now. There it is. All right. Hope that makes you happy, Jonas. We are all request video here. All right, let's get moving here. Let me say hi to a couple more people who are coming on today for today's class. Ivor, Caroline, all right, she's here. Love that guitar. The guitar loves you. All right, here we go. If you guys coming on, shower the people, Ivor. Okay, I'll do that next week. Shower the people. I know them all. In fact, I was going to do Long Ago and Far Away. Do you know that song off of James Taylor's Mudslide Slim album? Another one of my favorites. Good guitar and good singing. All right, here we go. Today's topic is mind power, prayer, and intention for other people. Does it work? What's it all about? Let's get some energetic awareness for that. And let's discuss this, because this is something that we've all grown up with and wondered how it works. If it does work, is it a coincidence? You know, what's it all about, Alfie? That's another song I'll do. What's it all about? Okay, so you know, when we talk about prayer, those of you who have grown up in a religious environment, when we talk about prayer, usually we're taught that there's a God somewhere sitting up in heaven, you know, watching human beings, and that, you know, if we get on our knees and ask him for stuff, he's going to give it to us, right? The power of prayer. God, you know, will you help me win the football game? God, will you help me with this date go on? God, will you help me with this investment? You know, so much of prayer has been, it's like people think there's a genie up there that just says, oh yeah, whatever you want, just ask me for it and I'll give it to you. In fact, it even says that in the Bible. You know, ask for what you want, ask and you shall receive. Knock and the door shall be open to you. You know, whatever you pray for and believe, it's going to happen. So, well, if you're like me, you know, in your prayers, prayer has been kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for, an up and down experience. So first off, in growing up, we think, okay, well, you know, if I pray for my mother, you know, who's sick to get better, she'll get better, right? Or if I ask God to, you know, help get me a job or do, you know, help somebody out, that's going to happen. Well, as we all know, it doesn't happen that way. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. So with most people's approach to prayer, you know, they'll try something once and they'll say, okay, I'm praying for a Cadillac, okay? Is it out in the driveway yet? No, prayer doesn't work. It's a bunch of hooey, right? Or maybe you prayed for things and you really wanted them and you didn't get it. And you think, well, this prayer stuff doesn't work. I prayed for X and it didn't show up. Now, if you've ever had the experience of praying for something and it did show up, that's pretty cool. You know, for praying, hopefully for someone who's very sick and they recover, that feels great. You pray for people who are in danger or people who could be experience potential suffering from the weather and they pull through. That feels good. But you ever notice when you pray for something and it comes through, there's a little voice inside you that says, oh, it was going to happen anyway. It was going to happen anyway. Yeah, your prayers didn't have anything to do with it. It's going to happen anyway. Right? You ever get that? I get that. I get that voice. Now, if you've been following my classes and teachings, you know I've identified the energies that we're dealing with. All of us are living in an energetic planet, dealing with everything that we're dealing with here on this planet is an energetic exchange, because we're all energy. You, me, the air, the house, the grass, the sky, you name it. This is an energetic planet we're living in. So it's really fundamental to understand how energy works. Doesn't that make sense? Hey, if you're living on an energetic planet, doesn't it make sense for you to, learn the energetic laws and learn how things work? Well, you would think that, but unfortunately it's not the case. Now, we're all taught about the physical laws. We're all taught about, and that's important. We're taught about the scientific and the physical laws of how things work, and the various theories that happen, the theory of gravity, okay, or, different scientific theories. And we grow up thinking we live in a physical world. And we're taught educationally in a linear fashion. So linear means, well, A plus B combined with C equals D. Okay, that works in the hard sciences, it works in math, it works in scientific formulas. But in the area of energy, in the area of human behavior and how that behavior works and what it's based on, it's not so clear. So, and that's one of the reasons why I got in energy awareness training. And I created it to be able to explain the things that are unexplainable. So, we get it explained to us, well, you go to school and then you major in something. After you get out of high school, you go to a trade school or you go to university and you pick out what you want to do. And then after you graduate, you go get a job and hopefully that's your career. And then you meet someone and you fall in love and you get married and you have kids and then you live happily ever after, right? Isn't that the way it's supposed to go? That's kind of like the way it's supposed to go, the way they explained it to us or what we learned that people do growing up. But then when you grow up, you recognize life's not that way. It's not that simple. And then it's kind of frustrating because sometimes things work out the way you want them to, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes it feels like you're in control, and sometimes it feels that you're not in control. So one of the things that I teach in my course called Energy Awareness Training, that I teach either one-on-one or in group classes or from the video modules that I have for my students, I teach energetic laws. And these energetic laws are principles that we should have been taught in the second grade, along with reading, writing, and arithmetic, because they're a blueprint of how things work. And even though we're moving a little bit into a subjective realm, this particular realm you can start to learn by observation. And these are the things, unfortunately, the affairs of the heart, of our emotions, of dealing with people socially, our place growing up. All of these things, they're not subjective. They're not, for example, there's a law. Well, if you go to junior high, your first day at a new school in junior high, well, how do you get along with people? You smile and be nice, and everybody will be your friend, right? And you'll have a great time. Well, if you ever went to junior high at a new school, that's not the formula, because sometimes people, you go around smiling, people think you're a geek, or people don't know you, or there's cliques around that you have to deal with, and some people, like you, some people don't like you, they don't even know you. So in other words, there's a multitude of factors that are taking place beyond the just smile and be a nice person and you'll have friends. It's a lot more to it than that. How about man-woman relationships? Well, you ask the girl out. You're very nice to her. You let her know you care about her, and then hopefully she'll care back about you, and you'll fall in love, and you'll have a great happily ever after, and it'll just be swell. Okay, that's the formula that we learn, right, for getting along. Well, Anybody who's ever had a relationship knows it's not that simple. There's a lot more, a lot more to it than just being nice. And I'm nice to you, you're nice to me, we're nice to each other, everything's rosy. No, tremendous issues that we have to deal with. And energy awareness training, by and large, it explains the things that were never explained to us when we were kids on how to navigate this world, how to have a happy, functional, prosperous, healthy life on planet Earth. So one of the energetic principles I want to share with you in the class today is the law of paradox. And that's a very important law. And the law of paradox simply goes like this. Some things are the way they seem to be. Things are sometimes not the way they seem to be. So we've all had the experience of, hey, I do A, B, and C, I should get D, right? Hey, I do this, I've done that for this person, they should like me back, or I've, given, X amount of years to the company and they should reward me with a promotion or more money, etc. So we all have these shoulds in the world. I had a teacher that said people are too busy shoulding on themselves to really know what's going on. Should means SHOULD, should. I mean, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, it should be this way, it should be that way. And I'm here to tell you that probably the number one factor in human misery and unhappiness and frustration is playing the shoulda, woulda, coulda game. Is playing that game where I go, well, I'm X amount of years old, I should be here by now, or I should have had this by now, or maybe life's passed me by, or all of these thoughts in our head, trying to evaluate, trying to judge, trying to compare where we should be from where we are. And nobody is where they think they should be. No one. I have people who think, oh my gosh, I'm turning 30 and I haven't traveled the world and I haven't made my first million yet and I'm not married, my life's a failure. You're like, what? Wait a minute. Who said that you had to have those things done? Well, and they say, well, I naturally assume that by the time I reach X amount of age, I'd be this place. Well, life doesn't work that way. I'm sure you guys have, that's one thing I'm sure you've noticed. Life doesn't work the way we think it should at times. It doesn't give us exactly what we want all the time. So, but it does some of the time, but not all the time. So do you remember that famous quote by Abraham Lincoln? It says, you can fool some of the people some of the time and all the people some of the time. But you can't fool all the people all the time. Although our current president is certainly trying as hard as he can, but I digress. What that simply means is that there are factors going on that we can control, factors going on that we can't control. How do we know the difference? Well, we're not sure. We're not sure exactly how this works, and this is why I wanted to do this class today on the ability to understand, okay, well, what is this? What's this thing called prayer and intention and mind power? Does it work? Does it not work? Is it hooey? Is it new age fluff? What is it? Okay. Well, I bring this up because as an energy awareness trainer and teacher, I teach people how to use energy in a variety of different ways. I teach people how to use energy to be aware of how the world works on this planet. And that's one of the things I'm going to be doing with you today, giving you some tips to maybe see things a little clearer, a little deeper on how this particular world works, because we're in an energetic world. And again, for those of you who are new to my work, I base my work on a quote by Nikola Tesla, one of the greatest geniuses of the modern age, that said, if you really want to understand the mysteries of life And since all of life is energy, then you'll start to look at things in terms of frequency, vibration, and energy. And that's what we're doing, and that's what I teach, because when you do that, life becomes a lot more clear and workable. And when you're in league with the energies, when you're working in concert with the energies around you, with the force, you have a better life. It's like with the wind. If you're in a sailboat, you want to put that sail up when the wind's blowing so you can use the wind. Now, if you're going the opposite way where the wind's not blowing, you can't use that power. So each of us, by the very fact that we're energetic beings, we have an aspect to us that's unlimited, that's infinite, that's eternal, that's an energy, I call it an energetic dimension or an energetic frequency, that's measured by science, in that our energies never die. Our energies transform and they take different shapes. So when you start looking at everything around us, and the energy is either alive or it's not alive. You know, this beautiful plan here I have, it's big time alive, okay? And you can see that. You can see it, you can smell it, it's great. Love having it here. You see other things not alive, that it doesn't have the life force, it's not there. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, it's very important when we're going to start understanding concepts like prayer or quantum consciousness or the ability to project energies, as I'm going to try to explain it here. So in this world, one of the energetic laws that's important is that things are the way they seem sometimes. Things aren't the way they seem sometimes, right? We've all had the experience of thinking things were one way and they turn out to be another way. And other times, people were exactly what they seem to be, you know, good, honest people. And sometimes you meet people who claim to be that, and they let you down, or they disappointed you, or they hurt you. So, and you didn't plan for that. It's just the way it worked out. All right. So we have the law of paradox, and we also have the law that energetic law from energy awareness training that goes like this. Everything that is seen comes from the unseen. Everything that is physical comes from non-physical. I don't know if you've ever stopped to think about that, but everything that you see around us was created at some point, especially us. You know, our physical bodies weren't walking around 100 years ago. But 9 months before we came on the scene, our parents had an idea. Let's go out on a date Saturday night and have a lot of fun, which is exactly what they did. And they had so much fun that out of that intention, out of that thought, created action. And that action created the act that brought you and me, or you and I, into the world here. So it's the same thing with your phone. Once upon a time, this thing didn't exist, but somebody had an idea. Wonder what it'd be like if we could make a cell phone, something, to this specification. What would we have to do? And they designed it and they worked on it. They designed it and they worked on it. And lo and behold, from that invisible idea, because you can't see ideas, right? You can't see ideas unless you can read thoughts. Some people can, most people can. The idea comes from an invisible place and manifests and creates physicality by our taking action, by our behaviors, right? Moving forward with this. It's true with everything. Same with this guitar, same with the house, everything. We had an idea. It existed in a non-physical or an invisible plane at one point, and then that invisible thought, intention, desire went from a non-physical thought to a physical action. Like with the phone, they started, okay, make the glass and then make the cover and pretty soon you got a phone. Now, why that's important is because everything that we're dealing with in this world is energy. And to not know that means that you're missing out on a vital information, how things work. Because there's the energy that we see and there's the energy that we don't see. So for example, maybe for the iceberg metaphor, 10% above the water that you can see, 90% below the water that you can't see, right? And the Titanic wasn't sunk by the 10% it could see, it was sunk by what? The 90% that it couldn't see. So this is why this issue is fascinating. Does prayer work? Does intention work? Well, it's working. It's already working at a energetic or non-visible realm, because see what I wanted to say on this. That which we can see, we can control. That which we can't see controls us. Now think about what I just said for a minute. That which we can see, well, you know, I can control what I'm going to have for lunch. I can control whether I go to the beach today or whether I stay home and work. I can control when I do the laundry, etc. You can control that stuff. However, perhaps habits that you've acquired or behaviors that don't work for you, or addictions, or even going down that road where there's things that you want to change about yourself or about your life, maybe your relationship, or maybe your money, or maybe your career, or maybe your health. There are things that you want to change that you haven't been able to do that. You haven't been able to make the changes. And yet you've tried over and over again to do that and you haven't been successful. Why? If this was such a cut and dried world, right? A plus B plus C equals D, there should be an easy formula for everything in the physical world. A simple formula for everything. Well, there is in the physical realm. So for example, you know, if I say to my, I think I want to paint my house. Okay, where does that come from? It's a concept, it's an idea. It's something that has appeared in my consciousness out of the 30 to 50,000 thoughts I have a day. So, I'm gonna paint the house. Okay, what do I need to do to paint the house? Okay, I need to go get the paint, need to get the paintbrush, I need to get the ladder, I need to get the tarps, blah, 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 blah. Go get them, paint the house. So in a day or two after the house is all painted, people go, oh, what a great paint job. Good idea. Yeah, but where did that come from? It came from an invisible idea to create something or to manifest something that wasn't there originally. Okay, following me on this? All right, so when we're talking about human change, there's things that we have complete control over. Well, some people, it's easy for them to control their diet. They easily and effortlessly eat the right things, not even tempted to go off, you know, a really nutritious and highly nutritious diet. There are other people that just can't do it to save their lives. You know, they can't get through half a day without eating some junk or by being tempted to have candy or whatever. So for one person, it's a piece of cake. For another person, it's almost impossible. And all of us have issues like that. All of us have stuff that it's easy to do. It's a piece of cake. No problem, it can make the changes. That's our 10% above the water. But the stuff that we have problems with, the stuff that we have challenges with, that's the 90%, and that's below the water. And that's what makes up what I call our energetic operating system, the energetic operating system that we have within us. And that operating system is being influenced by hidden energies. So if you can listen to the sound of my voice, I'm here to tell you there are hidden energies that are operating within you that you can't see unless you're energetically aware, but that are trying to affect you. And if you're aware of it, you can do something about it. If you're not aware of it, you can't do anything about it except suffer. We don't want to suffer, so let's get energetically aware. So in my teachings, I teach that whatever it is that you want to do in life, even if it's just to be happy, you have to understand the energetic aspects of everything. Because as I mentioned before, no matter what you have, whether it's a relationship is an energetic exchange. You're getting along with somebody, you see lovers holding hands, walking down the street, kissing, feeling great, right? That's an example of an energy exchange. Now, in that one, that's a high vibration energy or a positive energetic exchange. Your business is making money and you've got plenty of clients and customers. Wow, feels great. That's high vibration energy or positive energy coming your way. Health-wise, you're eating right, you're in shape, you're feeling good. I know that this past summer, I went and got in super shape, and I'm in the best shape I've ever been in actually right now. Feels fantastic. Again, it came from an idea, hey, what would it be like if I could get myself in top shape, lose a couple inches around the middle, and have my old, college body? I'd have to do this, okay? And after I do that, I'm pretty much going to be in shape. That's right. So that's an example of a linear solution, a linear process, so to speak. Okay. Well, here's another one. Let's say you have a relationship and you've been married or you've been going steady for 5 years, and then you break up. Somebody leaves you, or you leave them, or the thing just goes south for some reasons. And you're okay in the beginning, and then it starts to hurt. Then you start to miss them, and then you start to realize, the time you put into this thing, and you love them, but you felt hurt, and they hurt you, and you wanted it to work out, and it didn't. And that whole episode of heartbreak and of the pain of loss or separation, whether it's, again, a romantic relationship, or whether it's somebody that you love, maybe a parent or somebody close to you when they go, and you're feeling the effects of that loss. Well, how long is that loss going to last for? No one knows, because everybody's different. Some people get over it in months, years. Some people never get over it. And healing that's a whole nother class I'm going to do, but I'm showing you that there's no A plus B equals C when it comes to recovery. If I'm recovering a recovering alcoholic, or I'm a recovering drug addict, or whatever your addictions are, cake, porn, gambling, etc. Just because I say, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore, done. Does that mean it's done? Well, for some people, but for other people, it's just the beginning of a long, tedious ordeal to try to stop doing something that you've depended upon for a long period of time to get you through these dark emotions that we're all carrying around. See, we come to this planet, and all of us, every human being is in the state of recovery. We're all recovering from something. That's why we're here. We're the recovery planet. And what are we recovering from? Well, the menu is so great. We're recovering from stuff that happened to us in adolescence, teenage years, or how about our childhood years? Or how about when we were a baby? How about in the womb? Or how about even before the womb? How about the stuff our ancestors passed down to us? In the science of epigenetics, it says that ancestors can pass down low vibration energy, anger, fear, worry, addiction, etc. Some people believe in past lives. Whatever you did in the past life is the karma that you have to deal with in this life. Well, whether you believe in past lives or not, whatever was you had to deal with in the past life you're going to have to deal with in this life. So it's going to be an overlap of how that works. So what explains this to us, really, that much of how this works? All right, so what we're seeing here is we're seeing the impact of energy on our lives. We're seeing that it's not just, we're just not physical beings walking around according to physical laws. Yes, that's a part of it, but it's not the whole thing. There are also energetic laws. There are also non-physical concepts that we have to deal with that no one taught us about it. And that's why the human condition is what it is, because no one ever taught us how to deal with adversity. No one ever taught us how to deal with loss. No one, ever told us how to deal with life and death and all of those things. So we're an accumulation of energy, and we have our energy is inside us, infinite, eternal, unlimited, but housed in a physical body, housed in a physical, finite, energetic body. So that's kind of a paradox in itself, isn't it? You have unlimited, eternal, infinite, all possible energy housed in a body that's just the opposite. That's just the opposite of that, right? That is finite. Okay. So what we're doing is we're constantly navigating the energies so that we can be, do, and have what it is that we want, and stay away from the things that we don't want. Isn't that what we do? Isn't that what we do every day? We make decisions. Is this meal going to be, is this food going to be good for me? Is this relationship going to be good for me? Is this trip going to be good for me? Is this job? Is this place to live? Is this car, etc.? All the things we're choosing, is it good or is it not good? And a lot of the times we can't see that. And this is why I created energy awareness training, to reveal that the truth about things are always there if you can see them. It's like what we call the seed level. You see a big orange tree, the thing with massive oranges on it. Well, once upon a time, that was a little seedling. It was a little seedling that somebody had the idea, hey, let's take the seed and let's put it in the ground and let's water it. And one day it's going to be a big orange tree. So when you see the orange tree, most people think, physicality. Things been here for a long time. But they don't think back to recognize once upon a time, this was a seed. And that seed had a consciousness to it, because that seed was energy. And from the energy of that seed grew this big tree. Now, a lot of times, sometimes when it comes to trees, you see a tree that's poison, and they have to cut it down. I know we had a couple of trees across the street here that they had to cut down because they got poisoned. Tree gets poisoned. How does that happen? Or it comes down with some kind of virus or tree sickness. That's kind of weird. How'd that happen? It happened in the seed level, because the seed level, when the whole process started, was corrupt. So even though that tree got a good maybe 15, 20 years of life, ultimately it was going to be corrupted because the seed level of it was corrupted. Okay, you guys with me on this? So what we see in the physical world has been created in the non-physical world, good, bad, or ugly. That's what we have going on here. Now, along with that, in talking about prayer and in talking about intentions and talking about mind power, when you understand how the energies work, that's not a stretch. See, if you don't have any sense of the non-physical or the energetic, what most people do is, okay, well, I'll test the prayer. Okay, God, I want a diamond ring, flawless carrot here, and I want it by Thursday. Okay, my prayer. Okay, and then Thursday comes, and what usually happens? There's no ring, and you're expecting the thing to drop from the sky, and it doesn't. So you go, prayer's a bunch of bunk, bunch of baloney. I prayed for the ring, it didn't happen, so obviously there's nothing out there. Really? Okay. Well, the way that we look at it from an energetic standpoint is when we identify the two categories of energy. The high vibration energy is the energy that's unlimited, infinite, eternal, abundant, blessed, all good, in alignment, creating a oneness with all living things. And that's the energy that we want. That's the energy that each of us can tap into, because that nature is a part of us. There's also the low vibration energy. And that's I should mention, that's the second energetic law, which is we live in a world of duality. That means if there's an up, there's a down. If there's a right, there's a left. There's a good, there's a bad. If there's a positive, there's a negative. If there's a high vibration, there's a low vibration. Now, why that's so important is because what we're doing on this planet is we're learning how to balance the energies. We're learning how to create balance between the physical and the non-physical. And that's one of the greatest things we can learn on this earth, to be able to balance. Everybody knows about the physical. You know, we've all been living in the physical world, or what I call the three-dimensional world, third-dimensional world, all our lives. It's this non-physical world. It's this hidden dimensions that we don't see. And that's where the confusion comes. That's where the frustration comes. So we get taught that, well, you know, if you say your prayers and God's a merciful God, he's going to hear you and he's going to give you what you want. Okay? Well, so I understand, does that mean, it means there's a God sitting up somewhere just on the throne, just, you know, looking down at human beings and going, you poor saps, but, you know, if you ask me for something, I'll help you out. Is that how that works? I don't think so. That's not my experience. That might be your experience, but it's not my experience of this. So when religious people try to tell me, you know, God says this, and you better do that, or you're going to burn in hell, or you know, you didn't believe enough, or, you know, any of this religious stuff, most people are just turned off to it. They're like, hey, you know, I can't relate to it. But yet most people have a sense of spirituality. Most people have a sense of knowing about energy. They might not call it energy, but they have a sense of the non-physical. They have a sense that there's something out there. There's more to life than just this physical world. And if you live long enough, that'll be demonstrated to you over and over again, especially when you see people who have everything, right? People, and I certainly have, a lot of my students are very, you know, well-known people. And you would think they have everything: money, success, millions of dollars, etc. But you begin to see over and over again that that's not enough, that there's another component needed besides physicality, you know, besides the people. Even Elvis, look at him. Wow, I'll talk about a guy who had everything. He pretty much meets that standard, and yet in his latter days, he was searching. He was searching for meaning. He was searching for something to deal with his soul. He had all the physical trappings you could want, but unfortunately, too many physical trappings without a consciousness of energy can lead to your destruction. And we see that all the time. You know, movie stars and rock stars, they're committing suicide all the time. And you think, oh my gosh, these guys got everything. Why would they do that? At least as far as we look at it. And that happens because, let's go back to the metaphor of the iceberg. 10% of the energy, physicality, operating in the three-dimensional world, A plus B plus C equals D, versus the 90% where you're not sure how things work. You know that there are other factors involved. And in the human energy field, or what I call the operating system, we're dealing with the fallout and the energy of things that have happened to us in this life, in past lives, from our ancestors, from the womb, etc. And we have tanks and tanks and tanks of energies of things that have happened to us. And these energies attach themselves to us, and they continue the process of wherever they're at. So if you're in a high vibration energy attracts more high vibration energy. Low vibration energy, anxiety, worry, stress, doubt, fear, attracts more low vibration energy. So when you become energetically aware, you recognize it every day, just like you have to interact in the physical world. You got to clean your body, you've got to feed it, you've got to rest it, you've got to support yourself, you got to buy food, you got to take care of your family. Those are things that we need to do in the physical world. There are things that we need to do in the energetic world for us to continue that happiness. And I go over that in other videos about our energetic body and how it needs to be cleaned regularly. And as it becomes cleaning, our consciousness expands, etc. But for this teaching today, for the class, what I want to do is I want to set the frame for understanding that the energetic law of paradox, and the energetic law of duality, and the energetic law that which is seen comes from the unseen. Okay, now, that being clear, let me just have a shout out to everybody who's coming on. Cahill, Ivor, great. Brian, glad to have you. Caroline, Christian, my man, glad you're here. Okay. Any questions about anything I've covered so far, or any disagreements or anything? Go ahead and hit me up on the chat. Be happy to talk to you about it. All right. Now, so let's move forward on this. So as energetic beings, we recognize that we're dealing with a 10% physicality and 90% invisible or non-physical. And the physical that we see comes from non-physical, right? Visible comes from invisible. And as I mentioned before, those of you just coming on, that it happens in everything that we create. Everything that's created was once an idea, and then it comes out into full manifestation. Now, when you really know who you are energetically, and again, this can be backed up by so many different books and scientists, the stuff that I'm teaching, I didn't make it up out of the clear blue sky, although some of it was revealed to me. Most of it's based on research by some of the wisest men around. In fact, one of the things I'll share with you is that there's so much more to our lives than what we see. So by and large, everybody's living in a third dimensional reality. What we can see, what we can measure, height, width, breadth, physicality. If I see it, I'll believe it. Okay, you've heard that one before. I won't believe it until I see it. I got to see it. Okay, people from Missouri. Okay, and yet science tells us that our energy is unlimited. That we're not just limited to a three-dimensional reality. That according to the latest scientific discoveries, we're living in a 10 to 12, maybe even greater dimensional reality. So instead of being 3, there's 10, 12, possibly more. Well, if that's the case, that means that in a 3-dimensional reality, we're only seeing roughly 10 to 20% of what's going on. And we're only experiencing 10 to 20% of what's going on. Okay, follow me on this because this is the key to the whole class. So the example for that is like light. There's light that you can see here, the electric lights, the sunlights, and there's light that you can't see. There's, infrared lights that it can be measured, but we can't see it. Radio waves all around us, we can't see them. Cell waves, can't see them. But when you become energetically aware, you teach yourself to be able to recognize the energy patterns. So for example, I know there's cell waves in my house because I turn on my cell phone and I can make a call. Couldn't do that if there were in the cell waves. Now, imagine trying to explain to somebody who doesn't know cellular technology, somebody who maybe they, or a kid, or someone, you're trying to explain, okay, let me tell you how cell waves work. There are these waves, you can't see them, but they have an effect on phones. So they're operating below our ability to see them. There are these waves, and you know they're there. You can't see the waves, but you can see the results. You can't see the energetic waves, but you can see the results. You can't see the infrared light and the different light prisms, but you can see the results. Now, what if somebody said to you, well, I don't believe there's a cell wave. I think it's all a bunch of hooey. I think you made it up. Go ahead and show me the waves right now. Go ahead and show me. Well, I can show you the effect. No, I don't want to see the effect. I want to see the waves. Because if I can't see the waves, I don't believe it. Okay? So you pretty much can't show them the waves because they're invisible, right? So you come to a place where you're either open to the possibility that these waves exist, or you're completely closed down to it, and it doesn't matter what the cell phone says because you can't see it. It doesn't exist. You following where I'm going with this? Okay, so let's eliminate, when we talk about prayer, let's eliminate the begging, the white man with the beard up in the sky that doles out favors, because that makes no sense. So people say, well, why does this person get their prayers answered? And why doesn't this person get their prayer answered? Or why does this person get healed? And why doesn't that person get healed? I can't understand it, so I don't believe it. I don't understand it, so I'm not going to have anything to do with it. Well, that's one way to deal with it, but not the energetic way. Because as you learn in energy awareness training, we're dealing with invisible energies all around. And especially the number one thing that all human beings want, which is the ability to change, to make a change. Everybody on this call wants to make a change. You're here and you want to be over here. And you've tried to get up there and something keeps pulling you back. What is that? You can't see it. It's invisible. But there's something there's something that keeps pulling you back. What is this thing? It's an energy. And it has a power, a purpose, a frequency, a direction, and it gives off information. And virtually everything that's energetic in this world gives off that information. So if you train yourself to look at where that energy is going, like with a person, how important is it to be able to trust someone? Well, when you trust someone, how does that work? Well, they say the things you think are right. They tend to do the things you think that they should do. And so far, they have done what they said they're going to do. Okay? Now, some people are that way. Some people only do that until they gain your trust, and then they do the opposite. And if you'd only known in the beginning when you got involved with them who and what they were, then you could have saved yourself the disappointment and the heartache of dealing with somebody who eventually hurts you or deceives you. And we've all had that happen. If only I had known then what I know now, I would have been, I wouldn't have to suffer. Well, this is the power of what energy awareness training does. It gives you the power to be able to see energetic exchanges between people, places, things, organizations, because everything we're dealing with is energy, everything. And these energies and these energetic laws, they exist externally out in the world, and they exist internally as well. So the energetic laws aren't, just in human beings. If I want to see what's going out in the world and how these energies are manipulating and are trying to influence outcomes, just turn on the 5 o'clock news. For every happy and positive story that there is, there's 10 low vibration energy tragic stories, which goes to show you that there's energy in play every day. And that's out in the world, but it's also inside you. Inside you, there's a multitude of emotions that are really energies trying to express themselves. And if you can identify what energies those emotions are, you can control whether you're moving in a high vibration energy field or a low vibration energy field. Now, we know the high vibration energy fields, again, are infinite, eternal, unlimited, everywhere present. wow, doesn't get any better than that. Unlimited, all powerful, everywhere present, infinite. Well, some people would say, well, that's the exact nature of the creator. That's the nature of source. That's the nature that whatever force there is that keeps this thing called life going, that brings the sun up every day, that makes sure that there's rain. You know, you can call it the planet, you can call it Mother Earth, you can call it the creator, whatever you want to call it. That source of energy, the more energetically aware you are, the more you can connect up to that power. And that's when I teach energy awareness training, that every day you are going, just like you take care of your body, you've got to take care of your energy body. And you just like you clean your physical body off of the dirt that makes you smell or stink, you're cleaning out the low vibration energy out of your energy body so that energy doesn't fester. So remember I said high vibration energy attracts more high vibration energy, low vibration energy attracts more low vibration energy. So we want to get rid of all low vibration energy every day. And that's what I teach you to do in the training. Why? Because low vibration energy, if not clean, cleared, and cleansed, will expand, because all energy expands, good, bad, or ugly. And that low vibration energy that you acquire, that we all acquire from daily, regularly, and historically, 3 types of low vibration energy that are having an effect on our lives, on our ability to move forward. So the good news is, you know, if you're frustrated and there are things that you haven't been able to move out of or move forward, the good news that it's not you. Isn't that good news? I don't know if you remember Flip Wilson. You guys remember that? He was around when I was a kid, and he would always, whenever he'd get caught doing, he'd say, "The devil made me do it. It's not me. It's the devil. The devil made me do it." Well, that was funny, right? Because we know that those urges are part of the human experience. But what the revolutionary work here is to recognize that there are forces that are influencing us every day. The high vibration, the good stuff, influences us. And that's a good thing, because the high vibration energy wants us to be happy, joyful, free, abundant, blessed, all good stuff. Now, the low vibration energy's job is to prevent that, to prevent us being in our joy by handing us worry, anxiety, fear, doubt, stress, etc. I've talked to you a lot in my videos on my video channel about how that works. And so if you want more information about how the different energies work, just check me out, YouTube/energy awareness training. I've got almost 100 videos up there. So check it out. Enjoy the videos. If you would like and subscribe to that, because that helps me get the work out there. But I describe all this happens. All right. So I know, and anybody who's energetically aware knows who you really are, that we are unlimited, all-powerful, energetic beings. No past, no future, never been born, never going to die, infinite, eternal. That's a pretty big realization to have. But that's the description of energies that any scientist will give you, that the essence of our energy. So if you understand that energy has its invisible nature, non-physical, and it shows up in a physical container. So for example, you and me, our energy is showing up in this physical container. And everything that we're dealing with in life is we're dealing with the energy around it. So let me give you an example. A lot of guys would say, you know, if I only had Miss Universe or Miss America as my girlfriend, I'd be really happy. Or, you know, if I could have a Victoria's Secret model, I would be so happy. Oh, life would be great. Oh, and other people think, well, geez, if I only won the lottery and I had millions of dollars, then life would be great. Excuse me. Then life would be great. So if I only had this, then I can have that. Okay? Well, What if you had the girlfriend or the boyfriend, the super hot one, and they were mean to you, or they didn't want to do what you wanted to do, or they were cold to you? Well, if they were that way, then you wouldn't want it, would you? Because the whole point of having, wanting your perfect boyfriend or girlfriend is to enjoy that experience, to have it be a wonderful, outgoing, loving relationship. And if it's not that way, then it doesn't matter if you have Miss America or the Victoria's Secret model, because the energy's not there. How about the guy who buys the Ferrari, in the first 6 months, loves the Ferrari, he's driving it everywhere, giving everybody, rides in the Ferrari. It's the Ferrari, Ferrari, Ferrari. 6 to 12 months later, not so much. Parked in the garage, likes it, but it's different. What's different? The car hasn't changed. It's still the same car. You haven't changed. You're pretty much still the same person. What's changed? The energy has changed. That's what's changed. And that's the realization that I want to give all of you who are curious, who are studying energy awareness training. The difference between energy and form. Energy and form. Because the form that you think the energy is in, the energy may still be there, may not be there. We see that in relationships. You're with someone and everything's going great, and then years pass, 10 years, whatever, 20 years, and you're not feeling it. You're not getting along. It's kind of stale. And well, what's changed? The only thing that really changed was the energy between you. And that energy is something that you can do something about on a daily basis. It's not like, okay, well, we've been together 20 years and I think the mustard's off the hot dog, the air's out of the tire. I think, the thing's run its course. No, it hasn't. Only your energy around that has run its course. So instead of dumping the relationship, which you have so much investment in, there's another option, which is change the energy. And if you change the energy, you change the life. And that's one of the greatest things people report, when using energy awareness training is, wow, using the energy, I changed my life. I changed my relationship. I changed my health. I changed my money. I changed all these things. And it wasn't so much in the physical world, because I had tried everything in the physical world and it didn't work. And I used energy awareness training and the techniques, and it shifted. So this is a little glimpse of what it means to be energetically aware. Now, understanding that we're living in an unlimited energy field, and there's a great book on that, on this energy field, or this high dimensional awareness. It's called a lot of different names. Some people call it hyperspace, hyperdimensional reality, 10-dimensional reality, quantum consciousness, etc. But whatever it is, there's a frequency that we can tap into that is unlimited, that is infinite, that's eternal. And unlimited means all possibilities. Now, I tap into that frequency every single day. I teach my students how to tap into that every single day. And as you tap into that, the energy, and you use it first off for yourself to clean and clear and cleanse, your anxiety, worry, stress. What is it? What is anxiety, worry, stress, doubt, fear? Can you put any of that stuff in a wheelbarrow? All non-physical, all energetic. And yet the anxiety, stress, and worry shows up physically as headaches, or as neck aches, or as money limitations, or as ulcers. So you can see how non-physical shows up as physical. And thereby, when you get the power of what I just told you, you recognize that every problem we have was created by its solution. I'm going to repeat that. Every problem that we have was created by its solution. That means no matter what you're dealing with, no matter what you're going through, no matter what the situation is, even if there's no answer in the 10% level, the physical, there's an answer in the 90%, the non-physical. So for example, when we work with people, I do a lot of work with people for emotional, to clear emotional energy. And I have a lot of people come to me who have physical ailments, who have hardcore physical ailments. And they've been to the doctor and, they're following the medical procedure. But for some serious illnesses, the medical procedure is nothing we can do. Or, you only have X amount of time to live, et cetera. That's about the extent to some people of what they get, which is not much, right? Like, well, can't help you, sorry, good luck. Well, in the energetic realms, in the energy work that I do, we recognize that these invisible energies affect us consciously or unconsciously. But we know they're affecting us by the way it turns out in the physical world. So for example, if somebody has, God forbid, serious ailment, I don't even want to say the C word or the L word or, any of these things that are life-threatening, and there's no answer for it. One of the things that I've observed in this particular field and in the medical field, there's a medical term for this work called psychoneuroimmunology. And that's basically the study of mind-body healing. Can the mind create healing for the body? Well, I think it's safe to say the research is in it, and the answer is yes. Many people who have worked with energy people, energy medicine, and a few of the doctors I know have had tremendous success and made tremendous progress. I've had people who were my own students who had physical ailments, and they couldn't find any resolution or any answer in the medical professions, although they tried, and they would say to them, well, we can't find anything wrong with you. And they go, yeah, but I got this, and I feel bad. They go, well, it can't help you. They can't help you in the 10% level, because the source of that pain or the source of that suffering is usually in the non-physical level, in the energetic realms. I know that was true with my mom. She had a lot of trauma and emotion, and doctors couldn't find anything wrong with her, and that would make her more mad and more pissed off, and give another pain in the neck or a pain in the leg and everything like that. And I learned this work primarily to help her. Unfortunately, wasn't in time, but that's why I'm trying to help the world with this. Okay, so moving back to prayer. So prayer connotates religion for a lot of people. And for some people, religion represents a lot of pain and suffering. For other people, that it doesn't. For other people, it's a good thing. But for a lot of people, at least that come to me, they've had some religious trauma, or they've had some upset, or they've had something happen to them that made them mad at God, or something where the whole religious aspect is kind of suspect. So what do we do? And so here's an example. This past week, and this is probably why I'm making this video. This past week, you heard about Hurricane Dorian. And Hurricane Dorian was moving through the Caribbean. And in the community that I belong to, which are people who believe and are energetically aware of something that I do, we have a sense that we can interact with that unlimited power. Now, not in a linear way, not in like, okay, here's my order. It's not like God's a short order cook, and I go, hey, I want a burger, hold the fries, bring the ketchup, etc. It's not like that. What it is, it's an awakening and an understanding of who you really are, of your unlimited energy. And again, pretty much agreed upon in science about the unlimitedness of our energies. That energies never die, they just change form. So when you're really aware energetically of who you really are and how this world really works, it's just one big energy field. That's what it is, one big energy field. Now, on this particular planet, there's two aspects of it because we're under the law of duality, which is the high vibration and the low vibration. So in our consciousness, what we're doing is we are connecting mentally with an intention, with the focus, with the power to connect to that frequency, whatever you want to call it, and to direct that energy towards the thing that we want to affect. So for example, during in Puerto Rico, we were praying for the people. I have a good friend who's on the call here who lives there. And what we did was we sent the thought form, the energy, the intention, the prayer, whatever you want to call it, that island would be protected, that the people wouldn't suffer, that there would be an invisible protection shield around that. Okay. Now, because I've done this hundreds of times and it's worked, I would say majority of the time. Not every time, but most of the time it does work. So that being the case, a number of us did that, put that shield around it. What happened? Puerto Rico was spared. Now, am I taking credit for it? No, I'm not taking credit for it. I'm just saying, in my understanding of energy, I was an active participant and I did something to affect that situation. Because we have a saying in energy awareness training that goes like this: nothing changes until energy moves. Nothing changes until energy moves. So I moved some energy. I had a group of people, we moved some energy too. Now, we saw that it was moving towards Florida. So we did the same thing. We intended, we visualized, and there's a lot of different methods to do that, but essentially what we're doing is we're directing energy. Just like I can direct my energy to focus on the corner or the window or the computer, I focus my energy because energy flows where attention goes. You have my attention, you can feel my energy right now. So it's the same thing that we did with Florida. We focused our attention on protection. We focused our attention on making sure that it wouldn't affect us. And as a result of that, the week came, didn't hit the coastline. Am I responsible for that? No. Did I have something to do with that? Maybe a little. Did you have something to do with it if you prayed for it? Maybe a little. But the bottom line was, it didn't hit the coastline. Okay. Then it was heading up to the Carolinas. We did the same thing. We intended. We have a certain method to really make your energy strong so that you can actually project thoughts, intentions, feelings, emotions. And what happened? Pretty much the Carolinas were spared too. So when I talked about this, on the social media, there are people who can say, "Oh, that's a bunch of hooey. Oh, you're crazy." And one guy said, if mind body, if the mind could really influence anything, then influence this pencil. Then influence this pencil to fly away. Come on, I dare you. Use your mind power to have this pencil fly away. That's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. So for example, God forbid, if you're walking down the street and you slip and you fall and you hurt your ankle, am I going to say, "Oh, just stay there and let's get a prayer group together and we'll pray for you"? No, I may do that later, but right now I'm going to take that person to emergency and get that ankle taped up, right? I'm going to do everything I can do in the physical world to have that situation taken care of. And when everything's been done in the physical world that you can do, now you want to bring down the higher energies. Now you want to connect into these high vibration energy frequencies, which according to our understanding are unlimited, infinite, eternal, good, blessed, loving. So let's turn that into praying for people who are sick. Now, I have the experience, I really don't do stuff unless I see it work. I don't know if you heard my video a couple of days ago about Baltic amber, about this stone that somebody told me that really has a great effect on your life and increases your income and makes you feel great. I went, okay, somebody told me that. So I decided to try it, tried it out for myself. Within 3 weeks of wearing that thing, things started to happen. Things were coming in. Boom, boom, boom. I saw the results. Now, can I categorically prove that it's this, a new client's coming? Oh, great. New opportunities, new business. Oh, great. Can I absolutely prove that it was the Baltic amber that did that thing that I wear? Can't prove it. Energetically, I'm looking at cause and effect. That's how we see if something works, cause and effect. Does it work? Well, all I know is I put that chain on with the big Baltic amber stones, and good things happen to me. Things that happen out of the ordinary, things that don't normally happen again and again and again and again. Okay, so when that happens, I know that from a quantum physics aspect that there's no coincidences, that everything happens for a reason, that this whole planet, this whole place that we live in is interactive, and that according to quantum experiments, a butterfly's wings can affect the weather the butterfly's wings in China can affect the cloud formations in Italy. Wow. If you ever study quantum physics, it's quite a ride. But there's correlations to what we call consciousness. And I'm not the only one who speaks about this. Deepak Chopra talks about this quite often. Eckhart Tolle talks about it constantly. Joe Dispenza talks about it. Many of the leading thought teachers, Wayne Dyer used to talk about it. And I'm mentioning it from an energetic, not from a religious, not from a scientific or a superstitious. I'm saying I've tried these energy things and they work. I've prayed for people and energized them, not from a begging way. I don't go to God and say, God, please, God, please heal it. Come on, God. Because you ever think, well, why wouldn't God want to heal this person? I mean, isn't God all good? Isn't all of that happening for a reason? Yeah, but it is happening for a reason. But it's not like there's a guy up there who says, okay, I'm going to be nice to you, and I'm not going to be nice to you, and I'm going to do a favor for you, and I'm not going to do a favor for you. That's not the way it works. It works similar like this. There's an energy frequency. There's a huge energetic frequency, and it's called high vibration energy, or the divine presence, or the universe, or universal intelligence, whatever it is. And that is an energy field that we can tap into if you know how, that can assist you, can inspire you, that can protect you, that can give you information, that can give you insight, intuition. And once you're in line and in allegiance with that frequency, then your life starts moving in a high vibration frequency. Life starts getting good because you're dissolving, you're letting go of the low vibration chaos frequencies, right? Because if there's a frequency of order, there's got to be a chaos frequency too. And so you're letting go of that chaos theory, that chaotic, and you're moving higher in happiness. And I'm here to tell you that every human being, everybody who listens to this work, your destiny, your divine right is to be happy, is to be fulfilled, is to have this life be a pleasure and a beauty and a wonder for you. And if it's not right now, that means that there's stuff to clear. All of us are here on this earth to clean, clear, and cleanse our low vibration energy, or our baggage, or the stuff that we came here to deal with. All of us. Nobody's the exception. We all got our work to do. And you either do it or you don't do it. You're either in the process of going, oh, okay, there's more to life than just making money and having sex and watching football on Sunday. There's a little bit more to that. You bet there is. There's a lot more to that. And when you awaken to that, and it usually unfortunately happens by pain and suffering that opens us, it takes that to get our attention to go, whoa, man, I didn't think that was going to happen. Maybe there's more going on than meets the eye. Maybe I need to awaken and become energetically aware. That's what happened with me. And as a result, it was the greatest thing I ever learned. It was the finest journey I've ever been on. I'm still on it. And now I'm teaching other people to be on it. Because you're connecting to unlimited energies, all possible. How's that? When you recognize that there's a part of your life that's unlimited, that's connected to all possibilities, that's here for you to have a great life, that wants to assist you in being filled with love, with abundance, with joy, with peace of mind, to get rid of all those negative thoughts and the negative energies. Wow, who wouldn't run towards that? I know that I would, and I have. So when I'm thinking about people and using prayer or intention every day I'm learning how to connect to the energy and how to control the energy. And that's what you learn. It's so important to learn to recognize what energy field am I in. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, you're discombobulated, you're all over the place, like this. Well, I'll tell you what, if you leave the house that way, with your energy all over the place and kind of half tired and like this, that's an energy field that you're in. And that energy field, whatever it is, good, bad, or ugly, expands and creates an even greater and higher energy field. So just like, you make sure when you leave the house, you make sure that your tie's on right and your shirt's buttoned up. You don't leave the house going, hi, you show up to work looking like this, right? You make sure, shirt's got to be just right. You prepare yourself because you understand that you make an impression and your energy gets to wherever you're going before you do. So this is what it means to be energetically aware. So back to the topic here, and let me just cover the main points here we're going. By the way, anybody have any questions on this? Ivor, hey, busted. Caroline, great. Busted out Rainer. Dean's with me. Chandra, great. Love you guys. Make sure you say hi on the chat. And it's great having you. Any questions on anything we're going over, just let me know. Comments, criticisms, etc. Happy to dialogue. So what this means is, does prayer work? It always works, because whatever energy I'm sending out is going to be sent. So if I say to you, hello, a greeting, I'm greeting you. Whether you accept the greeting or not, I've already made the greeting. The greeting's already there. So when I'm sending an energy or an intention out to people, that I'm creating that intention is an energetic field force that I'm sending out there, that I'm projecting out in this field, in this dimension, where we're all one, where everything's interconnected in the quantum realm. If you're just in the three-dimensional realm, what are you sending energy? What are you talking about? What a bunch of hooey. That's right. You can only expand, grow, and learn to the degree of your consciousness. So if my consciousness is just, if I don't see it, I don't believe it, and what you see is what you get, okay, then you're going to be living in a three-dimensional consciousness here on this earth. And guess which energy is in charge of the three-dimension? High vibration? No, low vibration. Because in the physical world, the law is everything that's physical has a beginning and an ending. So in this physical world of Earth, everything has a beginning and an ending. So everything that we're looking at, school, beginning and an ending, job, beginning and an ending. Our lifespan, beginning and an ending. Relationships, beginning and an ending. Fortunes, beginning and an ending, etc. So that's in the third dimensional realm, it's the second law of thermodynamics. What goes up has to come down. What goes up has to come down. And this is what they call the human condition. Why life is such a struggle, why it's hard, why people are, get depressed and they think that this is just one big ball of misery. Because in the third dimensional realm, that's the way it works. Everything is finite and everything goes up, it's got to go down. When your consciousness expands to a multi-dimensional realm, 10, 12 or more dimensions of reality, you open up your consciousness, you open up your energy to be able to do more, expect more, have more, and you're not dependent upon the outcome. You're not dependent, okay, so when I'm praying for someone, I'm intending that they connect to that high vibration energy field frequency. And these are the frequencies of people who are healers. These are the frequencies that people connect to. I'm sure you've heard, many stories about people who are diagnosed incurable, who had been given X amount of time to live, and the doctor says, there's no hope for you. Medical science says you're a dead man in 2 months, God forbid. And what happens? They live. They defy the medical odds. Everything that they were told wasn't true. Wow. What does that mean? That means that there was more going on than meets the eye. That means there was more information that they thought. That means that there was more possibilities for solving this problem or for moving forward than the doctor had thought. Those of you who saw my post on Facebook with Valerie Harper, do you remember her? Rhoda from the Mary Tyler Moore Show. I met her about 5 years ago at a reception. It was a fundraiser for the Wiesenthal Center. And she was just in the news 2 weeks ago, diagnosed with incurable brain cancer. Holy smokes. And here she is, somebody introduced me and I didn't know what to say. I'm kind of like, oh, pleased to meet you. And then I said to her, I used to watch you when I was a kid. And I thought, maybe that wasn't the right thing to say because, that was quite a while ago. And she said, don't worry about it. People tell me that all the time. And I said, how are you doing, Val? How you doing? She goes, doing great. And I said, I heard about your diagnosis. And I said, does it concern you? And she said, not in the least. She said, I'm going to live this life to my fullest. And with every time I have left, I'm going to be in gratitude and I'm going to be grateful and I'm going to live with every ounce of strength I have. Now, the doctor gave her, they gave her 6 months. She said, they gave me 6 months. She went on, she made almost 6 years for another 6 years of life. Okay. So what does this mean in the great perspective? That means we don't know what our limitations are. We don't know, we can't pinpoint limitation and we can't pinpoint unlimitedness either. So when we move into the frequencies, when we connect mentally, emotionally, energetically to these frequencies of unlimited expansion, of unlimited growth, then that's the field that we're moving in. And the powers that be that control things up in the 10-dimensional realm, the infinite intelligence, has its own plan and its own agenda, but it can be influenced by us, by our consciousness. And there's just, why I could go on in World War II. The Germans were just about to invade the British Isles. They were on the verge of imminent invasion. And the Germans had enough troops and enough firepower to completely invade England, to completely take it over. The British Army was in no shape to resist them. Well, there was a group of people, a group of energetically aware people, shall I say, who went to Stonehenge and had a massive meditation to keep the Germans away. They put together a field force to repulse the Germans and to keep the British Isles safe. And they did that. It was for 3 days straight, continual meditation to be able to do that. And lo and behold, what was just about to take place didn't take place. The British were armed. They were ready to invade. And for some reason, they pulled back. For some reason, they changed course. Now, if you had said to the German commander, you guys are on the brink of invading England, what are the odds that you're going to stop immediately right at the 9th hour and turn it around and go away? They probably would have said, there's no chance. You know, it's a done deal, like D-Day, you know, invading the French Isles. Couldn't turn that back. You couldn't turn that back, man. It's already in motion. It's impossible to turn that back. Impossible? Well, for some reason, it turned back. And there was a massive amounts of intention, meditation, and prayer with that intention empowered energetically that particular thing happened. And it happened. So the skeptic would say, coincidence. There's no way. How can you prove that? Can't prove it. All you can do is just notice where the energy's going. All you can do is just notice the patterns. So when you have a pattern like this that happens over and over again, as I've witnessed and I've experienced, you know you're onto something. And I've been in places, you know, I was a musician for hire for a long time when I still lived in San Francisco. And I would play at these services, at this one particular service, and they had a time where anybody who needed prayer would come and they would pray for them. So during that time, I would see people come up and, you know, Mrs. Jones has cancer. Let's pray that she's healed. And Mr. Faghetti's got leukemia. Let's pray for him. And Alice Jones is in an accident and is on life support system. And, you know, let's pray for her that she recovers. Well, I had this gig for about 5 years. And I noticed after a few years that everybody that they prayed for didn't make it. Think about that. Everybody that they prayed for was a goner. In fact, when they used to call for the prayer time and people would come up for prayer, I'd go, oh, don't go up. Oh, don't go up. Because the norm was, didn't work. The norm was people didn't get healed. The norm was prayer wasn't answered, right? Maybe once in a while, but 95% are over. Goners. Wow. And then I moved to another place. When I moved down here to LA, I got hired to at another place, another spiritual community. And they were praying for people every week too at their service. And I'd be, you know, in charge of the music while they're praying for people. And it would be the same thing. So-and-so needs prayer for cancer. So-and-so needs prayer for leukemia. So-and-so's on death's door. So, but this time, everybody got healed. It was freaky. They pray for somebody, they recover. I'm like, what? You know, even people who were on death's door, you know, where people said, I don't think he's going to make it through the night. Full recovery. Coincidence? I think not. So after decades, over 25 years of me watching and experimenting with prayer, with meditation, with intention, with manifestation, with mind power, I'm here to tell you that it works. And it works to the degree that you're able to hold high vibration energy inside you. So the more low vibration energy, the more anxiety, stress, worry, doubt, and fear that you dissolve, that you learn tools how to dissolve all that junk. And the more high vibration energy that you accumulate inside you, all the good stuff, the higher and the more connected to this frequency you are. And when you make demands upon it, it's not like I'm asking somebody to do me a favor. I'm using the energy. I'm harnessing the energy for always good, for always high vibration energy, for always to help people. And that's high vibration energy, which expands, which creates more high vibrational energy. Then you have no doubt that prayer works. You have no doubt that you can have an intention to save people. You're living in a world of unlimited possibility. And what I do with my students and the people who study with me, one of the biggest challenges we have is usually when they come to me, they're stuck and they have a situation that they haven't been able to move it for years. Some people, whether it's a physical thing, whether it's an emotional thing, relationship thing, whatever the problem is, it's stuck. And they've come to me, it was a last resort sometimes because they think I'm the energy man. And what do? I don't deal with that problem directly. I find out what the energy is that's creating the situation, and I clean, clear, and cleanse that energy, dissolve it, and empower with high vibrational energy. And as a result of that, that's why people get results who come to see me. Pretty much about 99% out of 100 of people who come to me with a certain problem. That problem is just symptomatic of an energetic condition that can be easily changed. But they've had the condition for such a long time because they did everything except change the energy. And nothing changes until energy moves. So when you move energy and you're connecting to more on a high vibrational level, then you become open to all possibilities. So is it, even somebody who's sick or somebody who's, right near the end, can it be turned around? Absolutely. Because you're in an unlimited, all possible energy field. It's not, here's what it's not. It's not the having a, what do you call these things? Your remote control on the TV that says, okay, I think I'm going to order this, or I think I'm going to have that, or I'm going to have this today, or I want that. No, it's not that way at all. It's not a linear process. It's a non-linear process. It's an ability to be able to transcend a third dimensional reality, this physical world, and moving into the place of all possibility, moving into this field of unlimited possibility. Some people call it the 0 point energy, when you're connecting with divine intelligence. Again, I'm not talking about religion. I'm not talking about having to believe in anything, okay? If you do, great. If you don't, great. Because energy is a scientific fact, whether you're a believer or whether you're an atheist. And when you look at it from a different perspective, instead of, petitioning some white guy with the white beard, some old guy with the white beard up there to do you a favor, you're making a connection. It's like, if I'm in the house here and I'm pale and I need to get some sun, okay, well, I can think about it until I'm blue in the face, which is what most people do. They go, why did this happen to me? What am I going to do about it? I don't know. They go round and round and round and round with no answer. How about I just recognize I need to change the energy, because nothing changes until energy moves. Boom, go out of the house, take off my shirt, boom, got the sun rays. How much sun do you want? Unlimited. It's unlimited. You can stay out for 5 minutes, you can stay out for 5 hours. Now you want to be careful, like with all energy, there's a harm in having too little, but there's a harm in having too much. So again, you've got to balance yourself. So this is what I'm talking about. Does mind power work? Absolutely. I do a mind power exercise every day, and I use my mind to connect to high vibrational energy so that I'm in that energy field and I'm creating more of the same. Does prayer work? Well, it's worked for me. Most of the people that I prayed for, and the situations that I prayed for, they come to pass. Sometimes exactly the way I wanted to, other times not the way I wanted to. but there's always something that moves. The situation doesn't stay static. So I teach my students one of the most important parts of action that you can take in a situation is to energize it, to change the energy around it. So that when something happens, you're not feeding it more low vibration energy. So if something happens, you go, okay, maybe an uh-oh happens, like uh-oh, this happened, uh-oh. Okay, notice your first tendency is to get stressed about it, be anxious, be worried about it. Okay, immediately I change that energy into, okay, this thing happened. And even though it happened, can I stay in high vibration energy, happy, joyous, and free, even though I got to deal with this thing? And that's the decision to end your suffering and to be emotionally and energetically free, to be able to train yourself to do that. Not an easy thing to do, but it's a simple thing to do. And over time, that's why I call this training. It's not something you can listen to. You can listen to me and go, well, that's a great idea. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I ought to do that someday. Nothing changes until energy moves. So I want to encourage you to become energetically aware, to start learning how to read the energies outside of you and internally. And you'll be walking into a whole new life of unlimited possibility. And no matter what you're going through or what you're dealing with, when you're connected to that frequency and you stay in that frequency, it all has to turn out for your best. No matter what it looks like today, the energetic law is it must turn out for your best. Okay, so I hope I made this clear on how prayer, intention, mind power works. Does it work? It does work, but not the way you think it does. It works in its own mysterious way. And that's why, people who are energetically aware and who are connected to higher truths, higher awareness, they're called mystics. Mystics. I used to think, oh, he's a mystic. What do you mean he's a mystic? We practice mysticism. Mysticism, what's that? It's simply the awareness that you're connected to energy fields that work multidimensionally through time and space, which we are limited to. Our physical body, remember we have two natures, physical and non-physical, energetic and physical. Well, our physical body is connected, chained, some people say, to time and space, where it has to move through a linear fashion, time and space. But there's frequencies that are above time and space. If you've ever heard the term of non-local phenomena, that means that things happen that defy the scientific laws of space and time. Like, for example, one time I was rappelling off a mountain, about a 300-foot cliff. I was rappelling, taking the rope and going down slowly. And the rope broke. And all of a sudden, I went into free fall. I fell about 200 feet, thought I was going to die. And right when I was falling, my whole life flashed before my eyes. My whole life flashed before my eyes. So every moment, with all the time in the world, I saw that, all the time in the world. And yet, it was probably 2 seconds from falling. And then the safety harness caught me about 50 feet before I was going to hit the ground. And I lived. I thought I was a goner. But I lived my whole life, every second, experienced everything. You've heard that, his life flashed before his eyes. It's true, it happened to me. Now, how could my whole life flash before my eyes in 2 seconds? It can't. That means that at that moment, I left this physical dimension of time and space and went into what they call space-time or dream time, where there's no limitations on time or space. This is getting a little out there, if it is, pardon me, but I'm trying to explain to you these higher concepts. So we have a place in our consciousness that is above time and space, that is above this physical reality. And if we go there, it will influence our physical reality if we're in high vibration energy, to have a better life, to be more peaceful, more aware, more kind,
to have inner joy, inner bliss, inner peace, no matter what's going on. That's the promise of energy awareness training when you're connected. If you're not connected, or you don't want to be connected and you want to stay in the three-dimensional world, be my guest. But unfortunately, that frequency is the frequencies of ups and downs. It's the frequency of happiness followed by sadness, abundance followed by lack, joy followed by despair. It's the wheel. They call it the wheel of karma. So in my energetic work, I'm constantly encouraging people to awaken to your true energetic self, to the unlimited part of you that's available, to the all possibility part of you. And when you're in that frequency, praying for people, intending that, moving hurricanes and anything else that you can think of is well within the realm of possibility, because you're in a frequency of all possibilities. Isn't that cool? That's what it's all about. Okay, let me see what's going on here in the chat. Okay, Ivor, he's a Namya Ringe Kyo guy. Good. That works. That puts people, I know that changed Tina Turner's life. Being able to move into a state, and I teach being able to go into that field with breath and with some vowel sounds and some awareness. But there are other ways to do that. And that's the way Tina Turner did that. Changed her whole life. So Ivor, right on that. Freaky. Okay, Caroline says low vibration people, because they want the higher vibration energy, what do? Well, you make a decision that you're going to study high vibrational energy, and you start immediately separating yourself and getting rid of any low vibration energy, people, places, things, activities. And internally, you want to turn your back on any low vibration energy, thoughts or emotions. And in an energy awareness training, I teach you exactly how to do that. And how to use exercises to completely clean out all the low vibration energy, all the stuck energy, all the misery energy inside you, and connect to the energies that want to help you, guide you, lead you to a wonderful life. So Caroline, the first answer to that question is become energetically aware, become energetically trained, and you'll start moving out of the low vibration energy, which is suffering, and move into the high vibration energy, which is abundance and bliss and blessings and love for all. Okay, that's the one line I can give you. Taking my courses or studying with me, I can teach you more on how to do that. But at least I'm opening up the subject here in the classes. All right, Ava, Dean, Chandra, love you, share. Just checking out. Any last minute questions? Ivar, in other words, if I have conviction in my high vibration energy, LVE energy, people have nothing to hang on to. Bingo. That's it. It's not just a conviction, though. A conviction is a belief. It's an actual experience. So in my last video last week, I took you through the energetic breath, the breathing, the ability to cleanse your energy in 5 minutes. Okay. That cleans your energy out and puts you in the high vibratory realm. That's like the basic. But it's something that you can do if you want to dig that out. It's in last week's video. I don't know if I've released it yet. If I haven't, it'll be released this week. Again, that's YouTube/Energy Awareness Training. Almost 100 videos up there on different aspects of energy awareness training that I'm teaching. Please go on there, enjoy the videos, subscribe, like them, and share them. That's what they're there for. Okay, couple more. Glenn, can I say a little bit more about the operation system? Yeah, essentially, we all have an energetic operating system inside us, and that directs our energies, our behaviors, what we're going to do. And that operating system is based upon largely the cumulative experiences that we've had in our lives, from childhood, adolescence, teenage years, back in the womb, pre-womb, ancestors, past lives, etc. So much of energy awareness training is the ability to recognize that low vibration energy that are causing the current issues in this lifetime, and to recognize the source of that energy, dissolve it, and replace it with high vibrational energy. And we all have that operating system. I should do a video on that. But that's the way the human operating system works. Just to answer that question. Ivar, I will say hi to your friend Anna Greta. Welcome, Anna Greta. I hope you've enjoyed the class here. Caroline, another great quote. Of course it works. Marilyn Schlitz, a lecturer at Harvard, says it's clear from the correlational studies within the epidemiology data that positive relationships exist between religious and spiritual practice. And let's see, and health outcomes in a variety of different conditions. Moreover, she says that study and confirmation study on intercessory prayer. The prayer groups had statistically significant improvements in outcome, suggesting that the intervention has clinical relevance. That's true. You know, I wasn't big today on class of showing you this person and that person, but there's plenty of evidence if you're interested in how intention and prayer and manifestation work. And I would recommend the work of Lynn McTaggart. She wrote a great book called The Field, which is the field of all possibilities, which is that higher dimensional conscious that I was talking to you about. She also wrote a great book on the power of 8. And she's been researching for almost 20 years, having intention groups, being able to measure real intention groups from placebos. So she's doing some scientific, experimentation here to see, okay, what's the data on the people who are really sending energy versus the people in placebos. And what she's finding out is absolutely startling. That in fact, I do this with my advanced group. When you have a group of people, say 8 to 10 people, who are focusing on a specific intention for someone else, not just them, but for somebody else, you're tapping into a frequency where that has a tendency to happen. Again, if it's in the divine plan. Now, again, I want to make this point clear. Does that mean when I pray for stuff, I get everything I want? No, it doesn't mean that. Do I get the things I want sometimes? Yeah. Do I not get the things I want sometimes? Yeah, that's true too. But we're also in concert with the divine order. So sometimes the things that we want aren't what's good for us. Sometimes, like a little kid, remember when you're a little kid? When I was a little kid, I wanted a BB gun. And I wanted it. I wanted it with all my heart and soul. And, I would beg and scream and cry and bribe and whatever I could to get a BB gun. Because, my father bought me, various toys at G.I. Joe, and he'd buy me all kinds of stuff when I was a kid, what I wanted. But I wanted a BB gun. And dang it, no matter what I did, he wouldn't buy me the BB gun. Now I can get mad and say, my father was mean and he never gave me anything I wanted. He wouldn't buy me a BB gun, and I'm mad at him for the rest of my life. But the reality was he bought me all the things that he thought I would enjoy, that I wouldn't hurt myself. And he knew me beyond a shadow of a doubt that at 12 years old, if he bought me a BB gun, I'd be shooting out every street light on the block, right? And I'd be using it for target practice, be using squirrels for target practice. Back then, not now, but and do everything's pre-teen adolescent boys do, which is pretty much get in trouble all the time. So if with that consciousness, again, it's worth it to be able to put the intentions out there and to see the results. And when things happen, great. Would it have happened? Would it have happened if I hadn't said it? I don't know. But I didn't want to take any chances. And I know that me moving energy, even if it's just me, I know that something's happened. I know that there's going to be a result taking place. And when you have lots of people with a certain emotion and a certain intention that band together for good, there has a tendency to happen in some ways. And sometimes the natural order takes over, and no matter how much you pray for someone or send your intention, if it's their time or if it's part of their karma to be able that they have to go through something or experience, God forbid, an early death, then so be it. And recognize that everything leads to something else. So a lot of times when we pray for people who are on death's door, and God forbid if they actually pass, there's a lesson in there for the parents, or there's a karmic lesson, or there's something more than just that, than just the tragedy. And so many tragedies give birth to people who are determined to help other people. There's a thing here we have in the States called Amber's List. And Amber was, I think she was a 9-year-old girl who was abducted and by a guy, and unfortunately she was abducted and killed. And they found the guy who did it, and they put him away. And the parents were just devastated, as normal parents would be. But what came out of that is the Amber Alert. And that is now, whenever a child is missing or is discovered missing from their parents, immediately an alert goes out to millions of people to alert that a child is missing, the last seen was so-and-so. And this thing has saved so many lives, so many children who were being abducted, so many people who were doing trafficking, human trafficking. It saved so many lives. So even out of the quote unquote unanswered prayers, do good things happen. But all of us, we want to do as much good as we can while we're here on this earth. That's one of the things I realized, man, I not only am I here to fix myself and awaken my soul, the way I do that is by helping other people awaken their souls, awaken their energy, help them move through the experience from pain to and suffering into happiness and peace and bliss. And that's available for us all. And the key to it is utilizing, understanding the energy. Okay? All right, I think that's going to do it for me today. I think you guys got a good lesson. If you enjoyed it, please mention it on the chat, what you like best, what you learned on the class today. And those of you, again, who want to learn more, there's a couple of ways to do that. You can go to my YouTube channel, again, youtube.com/energyawarennesstraining.com, energyawarennesstraining.com. And when you get on there, if you like what you see, I'd appreciate you liking and subscribing so that more people can be aware of it. The more people who like and subscribe, the more YouTube puts the videos out there. So appreciate your help on that. My website is energyawarennesstraining.com, energyawarennesstraining.com, for more of a detailed description of what I'm doing. And you can find me on Instagram and here on Facebook. Instagram's Energy Awareness Training. Okay, so hope you learned something. Hope you got a good energetic blast today. And we'll be back with you later in the week with more videos. And I'll be featuring a lot more content here as I'm bringing more people on at the company, and more people are excited about getting this word out. Remember, the mission of Energy Awareness Training is to end suffering in our lifetime, to end emotional suffering, to give people the tools and the training so they don't have to suffer emotionally anymore. And then ultimately to experience freedom, true energetic freedom. And that means being able to be happy, joyous, and free no matter what's going on in life. And that's completely possible. And many of us are experiencing right now. I hope you do too. All right, this is Glenn Ackerman, Energy Awareness Training. Love and blessings to all. Thanks for being with me on this beautiful Sunday. Go out and make it a great day, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.